The atmosphere is, I suppose, basically one of, you'd say, resolute. I mean, we're very concerned about Brazilian beef coming in here, especially when they don't have the same standards that we have here, particularly in relation to hormones and antibiotics in the meat. And we are told that there were safeguards in place to, that type of meat shouldn't be coming here. But we found just before Christmas that they did admit that Brazilian beef did come in here. They did contain hormones. And at one of the Food Safety Authority meetings last week, they found that they actually can't trace it. They don't know where it is. They assume it's consumed. And I mean, whereas if that was Irish beef, we'd be able to trace it right back to the individual who had that animal. We'd be able to trace that animal back to the day he was born, and back to even the mother of that cow, and you'd be able to trace every antibiotic and any treatment that it had to get, and it would only get them if it was necessary. So again, it's completely what we regard as double standards. And while obviously they say, it's Don meats that they, it's quite between trade, they can bring in this type of meat. But as chairman of Bord Bia, the organisation responsible for quality assurance in Ireland, the board that's basically does all the quality assurance, for the farmers across Clare and across the country. I think there's around 55,000 farmers signed up to it. It's double standards. Mm-hmm. It's unbelievable, and unbelievable that the government have backed him. I mean, even we know our own TDs, have saying this wrong in terms of, Joe Cooney has been very strong at it, as Cathal Crowe. And I mean, but yes, there seems to be a complete disconnect.
And just on that disconnect, we saw the government has won a vote of confidence by 89 votes to 61 in Larry Murrin. Do you feel like there is a disconnect, and do you feel like the government doesn't have the backs of the IFA?
Well, there's complete disconnect, and even some of those that did vote in favour of that, because obviously it was a motion coming from Sinn Féin, and they weren't going to support that. But we do know that there's huge support, and even from Clare County Council, we got unanimous decision at the last council meeting in our favour that that we'll say basically Larry Murrin, what he's doing is completely wrong.
Where do you see this going from here, Stephen, given that this has gone on now for almost a month? It began on the 26th of January, the rolling protest outside the Bord Bia offices. Would you imagine that action will be taken, or if the chair hasn't stepped down by now, do you think it's likely that he will?
Well, I suppose, yeah, that's the big question. I know they're meeting here. Actually, they're meeting here today, I'm told, upstairs. So as we're sitting outside the door, but will there be we don't think so, because he seemed to be quite adamant that he's there to stay. The government, or at least the Taoiseach, Taoiseach and Minister for Agriculture are backing him. We as IFA find it unbelievable and unattainable that he should be in that position, and we're basically here to stay, which is that's where it is the moment, and until either he steps aside or steps down. IFA said we will not accept double standards. We will not accept a situation where hormone beef can come into this country. And the question is why? We're 90% self-sufficient in beef in Ireland. So why is this beef coming in anyway? And secondly, is it coming in to go back out under our labels? And that's a concern we have. So we'll be asking more about labelling and how food will be labelled. And there's more issues there to be dealt with. But first of all, we'd see Larry Murrin as chairman of Bord Bia, unacceptable, has to go.